Hello, welcome to today's online filmmaker chat with the filmmakers of Dance for Me and ballroom dancer Egor. Congratulations on the broadcast premiere of Dance for Me yesterday evening on PBS. It will be streaming on the POV website for a limited time starting today until August 20th, 2014. So my name is Shannon, and I'd like to introduce filmmakers Katrine Philp and producer Lise Sastark. You guys want to say hello?
Hi. Hi.
And then we have Egor, whose video just went out, but he's with us, and hopefully his video will be coming back shortly. So hello, Egor.
Hello.
Great. So Katrine, I was wondering if you could just briefly describe Dance for Me for anybody who hasn't seen it yet.
Yes, sure. First of all, I would like to thank POV for giving us this opportunity to reach out for the American audience. I'm very honored to be here today, and also especially because this is because Dance for Me is my debut feature-length documentary film. So thank you very much for that. Dance for Me is a film about Egor and me, who is a Latin dance couple. And the overall storyline is that we're following me and Egor on the way of striving for success on the dance floor. And then it's also about a film where we meet the young couple growing up in front of the camera, and also a film where we meet the mothers, both Egor's mother and Mia's mother. And we get close to the feelings it's about leaving home in a very early age, because when we meet Egor, he's 15, and when we meet and he is 14, and Egor is moving to Denmark to become Mia's lesson dance partner. Yeah, so that's the overall storyline.
Okay, great. So we're going to start this chat by going directly to a film update with Egor. So Egor, we would just really love to ask you if you could give us an update on what's happened in your life and career since the end of the film. And I'm hearing a little bit of feedback, so if anybody has the window open, if they could close that out, maybe the feedback will be great. So Egor, if you'd like to start.
So since the end of the film was in the end of the year of 2012. Since then, we've been to numerous competitions with my partner back then, with me. We've been to the World Championship, which was mentioned in the movie. It went pretty well, but well, as far as I remember, not as good as expected. But we were continuing training and improving day by day, and I was just letting it go and letting the training, just letting us both get into the system of training every day and getting more used to the life of a dancer, you can say. And we were just both very, we were very determined that year, the year after the movie was finished, because it was like the year when we first established our image, you can say. We established our level at that European Championship in the end of the movie, and we did our best to stick to that point, not going down. We tried to go up as much as possible, but it was extremely difficult because of very strong competitors. But we did our best to try to stay at the same level at least, and try to improve constantly, of course. And during the year there were numerous competitions, both good and bad, and there were a number of reasons for all of it, of course. But the end of the year of 2013 with me and Mia went very well, and we went into the semi-final of the World Championship of our category, which was extremely good and which was kind of unexpected, but we wanted with our whole heart to get into this semi-final. It was really nice. It was a great experience to just be with the competitors which we really want to compete with, and we did compete with them, and most importantly, the people saw that we deserve to be there and we deserve to go further. And yeah, and shortly after the World Championship, me and my dance partner Mia, we split, actually for a number of reasons, and yeah, we just mutually agreed that we want to end our partnership now because we want to go different roads. It's just as simple as that. And Mia went on with a different partner, and I came to Denmark to dance with a different partner too. And we continue our dancing career separately. And since then, I was dancing with Evangeline Nørgaard, which is who is a very good Danish girl, also a Danish girl. And I'm also living with their family. I'm also living with them, and I'm also I still studied the whole year in this IB gymnasium I was attending to for the duration of the movie, and after that, and and the life was quite similar actually to the one I had before. We were just training and we were studying, and it was just on a little bit different scale because we both were a little bit older than when I was dancing with me, so the requirements for the trainings were much higher, and we had to train more. That's as simple as that. We had to train more. We had to spend more money on the trainings, on the travels. We had to spend more money, as I was close to be turning 18 when we started out with Evangeline, and I'm 18 now. And when we started, I was 17, and it was like a period of age when I had to do a lot of things which required only my own speciality. You can say I had to do them all by myself. I should have. It was like a requirement to get used to the life of an adult. You can say I had to do all the things by myself. I had to do documents by myself because I am not 18 yet, but I'm going to turn 18, and it created a lot of problems during the year. So we actually didn't go to as many competitions as possible, but we still we established quite a good connection with this girl, and I believe we can go very far with her. She's very determined now. She's very sporty. She lost weight. She's training so much, and we are both so happy that we got back together, because that period a year ago when Mia split with me, it was a bit shaky, and it was a bit unexpected. The whole situation. It was like a period of drift when I just didn't really know where could I go. I just continued in the same way, and I was very grateful that at that time of my life I had my mom with me. My mother just helped me a lot with decisions and with supporting me, and she just, to the very end, she just kept saying that it's going to be like you believe it's right, like you believe it's supposed to be. And until the very end, I wasn't sure what I wanted to do, because we had a lot of different partner requests, you could say, from the girls who are looking for partners from different countries too. And we were considering those, but we, in the end, just the way it came down to the fact that I was studying here for the second year already, and the third year, which will come the next year, the year after, was the most important one, because it's a graduation year, and it would be just stupid for me not to continue studying here. And actually, the motive for me coming back to Denmark was studying, not really dancing. That was an interesting part. But and it was the same with Evangeline, because she had some challenges in her life right before we started to dance together. But and when we started together, we hadn't had like a superior thought of all right, now we are going to go out and we are going to become the world champions, and everything is going to be great, blah blah. We were both in kind of a standby mode when we both didn't know if we wanted. Ivangi even didn't know if she wanted to continue dancing, and I didn't know if I want to stay in Denmark, and I didn't know if I didn't know anything. I was like, I would just throw into the lake and just swim, this kind of thing. And I was, but as we danced a month after a month, and then half a year later, we saw that we improved so much in this half a year, both of us, and a lot of people said that this partnership was also just physically wise, that her physics matched my physics, like just our bodies were matching much more on the dance floor, and just the way we dance was a little bit more matching than the one before, because before we were it was extremely good looking as well, of course, with me, because it was a contrast. It was a contrast between you can say black guy, because I had black hair, you know, and everything, and was in opposite to me. It's just you know, it's like a white swan with blue eyes. You know, it was a very nice thing when we came out on the dance floor, because it was a striking difference and it was interesting. But here it's a different thing, because now we're going on a different level. Now we are in the adult category, which requires a lot of strength to be in and to compete in, because this is just basically all the people who went out from the youth category, which is under 19. So everyone above 18 years old until until 30 is in there. So it's an extremely high degree of competitiveness in everyone. It's incredible how old these guys are. It's just when I look at them, I'm like, shit, I have to compete with them, and we did, and we do quite well. And for the past year, especially in the last competition, in the last competitions with Ivangi, we were like the one we went to San Marino very lately, like I don't know, a month ago or so. It went very well for us, and we beat so many adult couples who were very good, and that was very surprising for us, because we just thought that simply because we are younger, we cannot really beat them, but that was not true. Apparently, that was it was a very surprising, positively surprising thing that we could compete with them, and we could actually win, and we could just beat them, because we got I think we got number 27 among 150 couples of adults, who were 12 of them were star couples, which means that they were all in top 50 in the whole world. And this is adult category, and we were so happy to be in this people and the got, and we beated all our competitors from before, which we had with me, and we just were. It was just amazing. I mean, it's yeah, it's just a reassuring thing. It's just reassured me that that we are both, me and Ivangi are going to be very well together off. I mean, the next year is going to be much more stuffed with the different competitions, because this year, due to my document problems, I couldn't really dance as much. But next year is going to be like a sprint, basically, with all the competitions. Every second week is going to be a competition, and I mean, it's quite tough. It's quite tough to prepare it for the comps and to travel so much, and the training camps and money. And I have to work next year because I am turning 18, and my mom just cannot simply supply me with everything. So now the situation is a little bit different from what it was before, from what was shown in the movie, for example, when my mom was supplying me with everything, and I could just study and dance and go home and sleep. Here I will have to manage my time somehow, to work in the morning, for example, and then to train later or something like this, or I have to match. I have to find the different possibilities for all of the activities I'm going to do in a day, and it's quite tough. I mean, I'm not the most structured person in the world. And my teachers could say that, but I mean, it's like it's kind of a growing up thing. It's quite exciting. It's quite exciting to see how good you can actually do in this kind of adult life. That was very interesting for me. And, kind of failed miserably in the first part of the year, but this half of the year is going pretty well in comparison. So it's quite alright. It's getting much better. And dancing wise, just dancing wise, not just results, but the dance itself. I believe it's gone to, I don't want to say a different level, because it's not a different level at all if you look at a very large scale, but it's becoming more mature. Just the dancing, the way we look on the floor, the way we dance, the way we move, not just because we're older, but because we improve a lot, and we are able to comprehend the information that these great teachers who have achieved a lot of things, like legends, these great teachers we're having lessons with are giving us. So it's just, dancer. A lot of people say that dancer's mind is like 40% of the whole product. That you have to have a mind, and then you have to have a body, of course, because, well, body is your tool. You cannot just do dancing without the body. It's like playing music without instruments. Yeah, you can do that, but it's much better with instruments, right? And that body is your instrument, and it's very important to make it ready. And we focus on the physical aspect a lot. In this year, we both started working out, going to gyms, and it's not the very usual thing for a girl to go to gym every day and to swim and to do all the things. But she was very determined, and I was very determined too. And I had to just sometimes I was just like pushing myself. Come on, she's doing more than you. that was a bit unexpected, but first we were quite first we were quite unsure where we are going with this. But then when we established a kind of training system where we know that we have to improve our physiques to get our bodies to a new level so that we can do things which our teachers give us. That's very simple. It's like yeah, you have to be better. Just I cannot give any comparison. Unfortunately, I haven't been studying for like 2 months, so my brain is not really there. But it's just you have to really make yourself fit in order to do the tasks you're supposed to do. It's very important to make your body ready for everything. I really don't understand why this video is not on, because it should be on.
Yeah, we're not sure what's the video, but thank you for the video, the update, Egor, since the film has ended. And so Egor can only stay on for about 15 more minutes. And so anybody who has very specific questions for Egor, please ask now. And Egor, so we'd also like to ask you, what are your plans for the future, after you're age 18, going into adulthood? And then we'd like to get maybe just like 1 or 2 pieces of advice from you about what you think it takes to be a great ballroom dancer.
Mm-hmm. All right. So
if you want to tell us about the future first, yeah.
Yes, plans for the future. Well, it's quite a difficult thing to say right now, but I would say for the future, you mean nearest future, as I recall, or
could be, and after you turn 18, or even like 5-10 years down the line.
Well, I turn 18 now, so I'm 18.
Yeah.
Yes. So, well, we can say if we take the nearest 2 years plan, that it's absolutely dancing. It's sports. It's nothing else. It's just work to provide money for the dancing and just dance. It's just training every day and improving my body to even higher degree. I mean, our bodies for even higher degree. We're a team, right? With Evangelina. I mean, we decided that we have to become the world's under-21 champion, which means there's a category which is right in between of youth, which is under 19, and adults, which is everything above. There is a category which is like a middle category. It's called under 21. So you basically, every person under 21 years old is allowed to compete in that. And it's a relatively new category in dancing. It was reintroduced recently. So it's the World Championship and the European Championship for it is not elected yet. So everyone who wants to can go there if he matches with age. And we've been there once now, and it went quite okay, but we saw that we couldn't really beat the couples that were just older than us, simply. It was in the middle of the year, and back then we were basically unfit for the task. But right now we see that we can actually do this, and we plan until we both turn 81, because 91, 81, oh shit, okay, 21. Evangelina is 1 year older than me, so we have 2 more years to go. And in these 2 years we plan to become the world champion in this category. And this is the short time plan. This is like a thing which we want to achieve in the nearest future, because we just think that this is the highest plan we can get in this 2 years. There's nothing higher. We feel like we will always have time to prepare for the adults, like you can say adults championships, like adults, just competitions, because the competitors in adults are much older than this. But this category is a possibility now, and we think that if we can achieve this, in this period of time, it will be great, and we really aim for it, and we are very determined to continue this road, you can say. So yeah, this was for the very nearest future. Well, and if we take 5 years, 7 years, I'm not sure what am I going to be, 25, 26. It's a little unclear for me right now because I have just graduated from my IB gymnasium, which is like a college. So
Congratulations.
I was planning to, thank you, and I was planning to go to university next year, but I haven't gotten enough points on my diploma, and unfortunately, and it's yeah, an accident, I believe, but nothing to do with that, and therefore next year I'm not going to be studying in any kind of official institution like universities or so. I'm sure I'm going to be keeping my mind in shape, so I will just continue learning languages and continue learning what I've been learning for the past 3 years in this IB gymnasium, in order to apply for university next year, because I can retake my exams in the next year session. Therefore,
Okay,
I have a lot. Yeah. Therefore, I have a lot of time to just devote it to dancing, and I just plan to devote it to dancing as much as possible for the next period of time. I mean, until I get to university, I cannot say further because it's a complicated issue. I mean, my mom is freaking out, and it's quite tough. It will be a tough studies if I'm going to university, and then I'm not sure if I can devote as much time to dancing as I do now. But I will do my best, of course, to devote it to both things as I usually do. So.
yeah, well, we wish you the best of luck. And so we have two quick questions
Yes.
from our viewers to ask you before you have to go. First, from Gary Toft.
I can stay for 20 minutes more if it's needed.
Oh, you can. Okay, great. Okay, so from Gary Toft, he asks, for Egor, do you think you'll ever get a chance to dance in the United States?
United States. I was planning to go to United States next year in the summer, so in the summer of 2012, but I'm not sure if it's going to be for competitions or for else, because I have friends there and they invited me for a vacation, you can say. So maybe I'm going to stay for 3 months or so for a long vacation, and I will try to, of course I will train there, but I'm not sure about competitions, because in our dance federation there are different kind of dance federations in the world, and in our federation, WSF, it's not as widespread. The competitions are not as widespread in that hemisphere as in ours. So I'm not sure there are as many competitions as there is here. But of course, I will try to find some if there are. But right now, we didn't plan to go there to dance this year, at least. We'll see about that.
Okay, great. Well, thank you. And then Joshua Salvador asks for Egor, what is the best piece of advice you would give to a 16-year-old who is trying to compete for the world competition?
World competition. Is he a dancer?
I'm not sure. Let's assume that he is.
No, but it's yeah. But even if he's not a dancer, if he is competing, that he is a sportsman. It's a very near term in the present times, actually, because only before, when the dancing was a part of entertainment for people, it wasn't really a sport. It was just a show. But now it's more like a self-development thing. So dancers are athletes, practically, right now. It's called sport dance now. But yeah, for the question, 16-year-old. Well, it's old enough to use your own head as much as possible, right? So the best piece of advice from me is to find yourself kind of an area you want to develop yourself in. Like if you are doing some kind of sports and running, you have to develop, for example, your technique in running, and then try to improve your body as much as possible inside this technique. Like in dancing, for example, if you know the technique of a New Yorker, for example, then inside this technique, you can do whatever you want. You just have to know the basics. You have to know the foundation. And then inside of this, you can develop as much as you want. You can use your body as much as you want. The point of the technique in any kind of sport is that it creates limits for our body. And that's, I believe, a very important thing to understand, because that's also my coach. A lot of my coaches are saying this, that it's one of the most important thing to understand for any athlete, that technique is not the thing you dance with. It's more like a shaper of your own body. It's like a shaper of anything. It's like you can just, if you're a violinist in music and you're playing some kind of song and you don't know what, but then if you know the technique of this and you already know how to play, so it will be much easier. It will be much easier for you to create anything you want. I mean, all the maestros, they already know how to hold the violin, how to use this stick or whatever it's called. I don't know. But I mean, in any kind of sport, it's much more. I would just say that he has to decide on what he wants to develop in his just in his area of development, and just stick to it for as long as possible, and to just find himself some kind of thing he wants to stick to, and just continue to develop in it, because it's very important to find yourself some kind of technical limit in which you kind of know, like a technical base, and then develop your body as much as possible. And technique will help you to what can you say? Technique can help you to shape your own possibilities, to shape what you're actually doing into whatever. I mean, it's really great that, for example, I assume that he's a dancer. So if he's doing a dance sport or any kind of dance, actually, like dance modern or jazz or whatever, it just gives a wider range of opportunities for you to explore the dancing world, explore the kind of movement, explore the possibilities of your body. I mean, it depends, of course, if the guy is a competitive dancer or not, because if it's if he wants to compete, the question was, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right, so he's a
Yeah.
competitive.
If the question was, what's the best piece of advice we give to a 16-year-old who's trying to compete for a world competition?
Compete, yeah, that's a different thing, of course. I mean, it's just then it's my first piece of advice. That's just keep training and keep exploring keep exploring the possibilities of your own body, and try to keep the technique limits where they are, and just explore your body inside of them as much as possible. I mean, maybe it's hard to understand, but once you actually think about it, and once you try to do something, it's much easier to grasp it. I mean, it's a very sportsman thing. You can understand it once you do it. It's actually quite a lot of things like this in the sports are like this. You can understand them with the head, but you cannot really. Your body doesn't have them. So once you actually try it and try to think about what I said about the limits of the technique and the possibilities of the body inside of technique, it will be it will be maybe quite a discovery for some. I mean, it helped me a lot at my time. So it's when I felt it first, when I felt it, like the first time I felt it was like half a year ago. So I mean, it helped me a lot. So that's my advice to him. I mean, just explore the body in the technique limits. This is it.
Great, thank you.
Yeah.
And so we just have a few questions from Carmen G on our Google Plus page. She's wondering, how did you handle the need to hang out with other kids and not get past, being able to do so? Did you ever feel alone?
Well, it was. It may be an issue for some. I know a lot of people who are like this, and I know a lot of dancers who are like this, basically like a teenager need of going out with friends and going out for like parties, or I don't know, like after school you will go instead. You will go for a walk with your friends instead of going to practice. I mean, there are quite a lot of guys who are doing this, but from the very early age I was trained to make my priorities in what I actually want to do. I mean, of course, there is a wish to just dump everything into the trash can and just go and play football, but it's not really the case, because if you actually think about what you're doing, you're just ruining your training day. And I mean, of course, you can say that one training is not going to change anything, but like there is like a saying that one training, and then if I skip one training, nothing is going to happen, right? And then he's saying, yeah, nothing is going to happen. You're not going to achieve nothing, this kind of thing. it's very tricky to go on this road of trying to mix a lot of social activities and your dancing activities. As for me, this is my own personal opinion. I don't know. I read a lot of stuff of people who are actually doing it, and they find it like a necessity to hang out a lot with other people. Like, for example, I don't know, there are a lot of very good dancers who actually achieved a lot while doing this, and I respect this, of course. But I mean, for me, if you want to be determined to the thing you actually do, then just every time you feel the need to do this, then you just ask yourself what you actually want. Uh, I mean, of course, if you want to just let yourself go, then just go for it. But after that, you will have to train for like, I don't know, a week to get back. Normally, it's like this for me. I mean, I remember when I got drunk on the New Year and I had to come back into my training shape. I had to train for 2 weeks, and first I had like a hangover for 2 days, and then I had to train for 2 weeks to get back into the normal training shape. And that's the point. I mean, especially if you're a competitive dancer, it's very important to keep yourself in shape at all times, because well, anything can come up. Someone can invite you for a show, or some kind of competition can just I don't know, can be cancelled. Then you have to just train even more for the next one, or just suddenly pop up. It happens quite a lot of times. I mean, just have to be prepared. It's like I don't know, it's like a special op. I mean, you know, this special ops who are guys who are just very cool trained in the military. I mean, it's like my dad. They have to be prepared for everything at every time. I mean, they can be dead in any second. So it's just a requirement for them to be like this in this mindset all the time. And one can say that it's of course not like this in dancing, but I mean, at any kind of sport, not just in dancing, it's very important to stay determined to what you actually want. I mean, you have to decide for yourself when you start doing it. Not a lot of people do that, but I mean, when you actually start doing it seriously, it's very important to know what do you want to achieve with this. What do you want? What is your purpose of doing it if you don't do it? You know, this kind of thing. This is the advice for me. I mean, if there is a need, then just ask yourself, do you actually want to do sports? If you feel this need of doing sports, I'm not against social things or going to parties. I do that too, like I don't know, once a year, so once a half a year. But I mean, it's if there is a need for this, then maybe you should change your mindset a little bit. Maybe you should go into other areas of development, or maybe you should go even deeper into sports instead of going into this. I mean, it's all in your head. It's all in your head. You can decide it to yourself. It's no one is gonna do it for you. I mean, all your friends can say whatever you want, but whatever they want. But it's still your decision. It's still up to you. It's a sensitive subject, of course, to say it like this, like harsh, you know. Oh, you don't let kids who play with their friends or whatever. They're just kids, you know, this kind of thing. I mean, it's if they're kids, they're kids. Or even if, I mean, even 18-year-old has a need to go out, I don't know, once in a while. But if you want to stay really determined, then you just have to do what you do. I mean, if you trained a lot for the past, I don't know, 2 weeks, then of course you can go and hang out for a day. I mean, it's no problem. But if you just train every day and then in between of these trainings you go out and have a drink, for example, that's just not going to get you anywhere. That's for me. What was the next question?
Yeah, that's really inspiring. So we're getting a lot of great questions from our viewers. And Katrine, I want to give you the chance to speak as well. I know that Egor has to go fairly soon. So we're just going to take 1 or 2 more questions. But I'm wondering, from Katrine at least, are there any questions that you would like to ask Egor that you have in your mind before I go on to other audience questions? No?
No, it's fine. You can take the questions.
Okay, great.
I think it's so nice and to hear you speak, Egor.
Yeah,
it's very interesting.
Everything. So go on.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Fantastic. Okay, so Egor, did you? This is a question from GKR. Did you ever expect to be conscripted to the Russian military?
Oh, please don't ask me this question. Are you
Okay, never
serious?
mind.
I
Okay, you
mean,
go ahead.
you're not the first person who asked this, and it's not. I mean, a lot of Russian dancers are experiencing the same problem even in Russia, not only in abroad. But I mean, uh, I know that maybe they're listening to our conversation right now. I don't know about Russian military right now, but it's very sensitive because I kind of have to be conscripted now because I'm 18, and this kind of paper can come any soon to me if I was in Russia, because Russian conscription is quite harsh. I mean, it's not like for example, in Denmark that you draw a ticket basically, and which says if you go or not. You have to go in Russia. It's obligatory to serve for 2 years there, and it's not an option for me. Of course, I cannot just go there. I will lose everything I trained for my whole life. I mean, I will just turn into a killing machine in 2 years because I'm very determined. So I'll just do what they give me, and I'll stop being a dancer very soon. But uh, as as far as I understand it, we had a lot of talks with my mom, with my dad, who is a military man, of course. Uh, as long as I'm here, they cannot really conscript me. But if I go to Russia, they can conscript me at any time. They can catch me from the airport if they know that I'm coming. So it's quite. It sounds like an adventure a little bit and like a dangerous one. But I'll just stay here as long as possible. And if I have to go to Russia, I have to be what's called fast. I mean, it sounds like something illegal, but it's not illegal. I mean, what can I do, right? And the if I would study it in university right now, it wouldn't have been a problem because they would just what's called. It's like in Russian universities too. If you are in a high place in university, like you got there by yourself and you just study and you go for it, then like without paying money, I mean, then they have no right to conscript you. You can continue to go to whatever you do because it's like it's your own thing. But you know, the university for me is also like a bit of a plan B, although it's like a quite high degree one. But yeah, it was just a plan B for me for my whole life, the studying, and I don't really plan to be the master of all sciences or so. I mean, uh, I'm not stupid at all, but I can I can just study. But if I have to devote myself to studying, I cannot devote myself to dancing as much. That's why I have to split this kind of activities all the time. I mean, and I couldn't get to university this year, so I will just try to stay in Denmark as long as possible.
That's great. So for our next question,
Mhm.
how did you process having a camera pointing at you when there were challenging moments during the competitions or when you were navigating Danish culture and its differences from yours?
When the camera was pointing at me in the very start, I felt like a monkey in the zoo a little bit. I don't know, just like it was very unusual to have someone watching you at all times. And first, if you pay attention to it, you are really I mean, you're really concerned. Like you turn your head nervously to the sides all the time, and you try to look cool from the side sometimes. You know, this kind of things. But it was only like this for the first times, like first couple of times. But after that, it was much more simple to adapt to this kind of situation when you know that you're being watched basically, and that you will be watched by a lot of people after that. So I mean, it's like I just tried to stay myself as much as possible in the time the takes were taken, and it went quite okay for me. And it actually helped me to be a little bit more determined to myself, because when someone is watching me, I have to kind of prove my reputation of being a perfectionist, blah blah, and being a determined sportsman who wants to achieve a lot of things. I mean, when no one is watching me, it's quite easy to let go sometimes, but I pick it up quite fast after that. But sometimes I let go, and it was quite again a kind of block, a limit that kept me in my zone, kept me in the zone I want to be. Like I really want to be in the zone of dedication, and it actually was quite helpful. I mean, especially when I was running, for example, and there was a camera in front of me, and I had to be like, yeah, it was quite. I had to be proving my reputation of a Russian guy, no, a guy who is determined and who is who is a sportsman, who is quite strong and everything. I mean, but always when they were taking the pictures of me while I was dancing, I never noticed anyone. It's like, I mean, any dancer has to learn this, that when you're on the dance floor, you cannot really notice any of the other people who are watching you, the audience. I mean, notice, not just don't give a shit about them, but you have to be so much in yourself that you don't pay attention, don't distract on them. You don't. There is no distraction on the people who are watching you. I mean, there will always be people who are watching you, also in your life, also in the street and on the bus stop, anywhere. So it was a long time. I mean, I realized a long time ago that you shouldn't just don't give a shit, shouldn't just don't care, but you should be aware that they're watching, but you're still being yourself. This is a conscious choice. This is a conscious choice that you're still being in your own zone while there are other people observing you, you can say. And it's very important to retain control over yourself while other people are watching you, because, well, for example, when the camera was on me, I wasn't as, can you say, skilled as me as I'm now, because there have been some just I don't know, events in my life that required for me being like very in myself while a lot of people are watching. For example, when we're going to some kind of big training camp with a lot of coaches from different countries, and then they just invite you to show something suddenly out of nowhere. Then you have to wear your shoes very fast. You run out into the middle of the floor, and then there are like 400 people watching you, and some of them are legends of the dance world, and you're just like standing there. You almost, you know, your knees are shaking and everything. And at that moment, it's very important. It's like being on stage, like, I don't know, going to X Factor or whatever. It's like it's very important to not just try to calm yourself, but you have to be aware that they're watching, and you have to. There is a certain energy about it that people are watching you. You have to kind of enjoy it a little bit. Enjoy a little bit that people are watching you, and then still remain yourself, still remain in your zone, still remain like you did on the training floor, for example. As for me, I mean, I actually forgot the question now, but yeah.
Yeah, that's really fantastic, and thank you so much for everybody who have been submitting their questions. We're getting a lot of great questions for Egor and the filmmakers. And so, Egor, I know you have to go soon. I want to be respectful of your time. Maybe we'll ask you one or two more questions.
It's no problem. I mean, I can stretch it out. It's not a big appointment I have.
Oh, fantastic. Okay, that's good. So we have another question for you from Gary Toft. He asks, the travel, wardrobe, and training must have cost a lot of money. Do you have sponsors that pay for that, or do you have to pay for that all yourself?
We have great sponsors for for our dancing clothes, for our costumes, for our shoes. It's Versailles. It's a boutique Versailles. It's a Danish company who are very famous in Denmark and abroad too, among dancers and among different kind of dance schools and dance shows and whatever. They just provide a lot of material and a lot of costumes and a lot of the stones like Strausses, you know, Swarovski and these kind of things. And they're very good in what they do. And we had them as sponsors when Mie was dancing with me. But when I came back to Denmark again to dance with Evangeline, Hannah, who is the chief of the boutique Versailles, they decided to keep our contract on and to just stay, so that we still basically dance in their outfits for free. It's not really like this, but it just feels like this. Yeah, they're just being our sponsors with Evangelina too, and it's a great thing, of course, because we want to spend at least triple of all the money we've had. I mean, to spend this year. It was really a big help from them to just to have their sponsorship again. It was very nice. And as for the travels, the Danish Federation of Dance Sport supports us a lot in some of the major competitions like European Championship, World Championship, where we represent Denmark on the international arena. And most of the time we do that, but this is like one of the biggest competitions of the year. So Danish Federation is quite known for taking care of its athletes, and it's especially for the elite athletes, for the ones who are like in top 3 of Denmark in all the categories. Therefore, they are they are sometimes supporting athletes in these major competitions with travel expenses. Sometimes they're even paying off the whole ticket. They are helping with the hotel, with finding the hotel, with transfers, with all these things, and they've been a great help too. And I mean, if they haven't been for them on the World Championship or European Championship, we would have wasted so much money. It's crazy. I mean, yeah, and all the rest, yeah, it comes out in a very big sum every month. I mean, we have decided, we have made an agreement with this family I'm living with Evangelina's family, my dance partner's family. We made an agreement on how we're going to pay the things, that we just basically pay half-half almost, both of us. So I pay my part, she pays her part, or if it's quite a big difference, then we just pay half. I mean, it worked very well for us, and it comes out in a very big sum. I cannot say the numbers, but it comes out in it's quite a fortune. I mean, I can buy a car from half a year of these expenses. It's quite a lot. It's quite a lot.
Wow. So we have some questions. Thank you for that, Egor. So Katrine and Lisa, we were wondering, so what was your greatest satisfaction in making the film?
Excuse me, can you repeat?
Oh, did you guys hear that? We're wondering, what was your greatest satisfaction in making the film?
Ah, satisfaction.
Yeah, and so any of you guys can answer that. We also want to open that question up to Katrine and Lise, because Katrine, we know that this is your debut feature film, which is really exciting. So what was your greatest satisfaction from it?
Well, I was invited to watch a training session in the dance hall because I was researching for a young dance couple. And it took me just a second to spot me and Igor on the dance floor because I thought that there was something very magical about them. And I immediately asked them if they would like to participate in this film, and fortunately they said yes. When I met them, I think they have been dancing together for maybe 10, 14 days. So it was everything was very new to them, and I love the Latin scenery, but it was very important for me that there was a story behind the dance, and I thought that it was a good story with me and Igor, and also they were very charismatic characters, and I saw that immediately. So I thought I had a good foundation to make a film there. Well, I was always interested in making films about people on shaky grounds and characters trying to find identity and a creative mind. And as Igor said, Latin dancers has to be so perfect, and very early in their careers, they get some tools to handle the attention and to be focused on the dance floor and on the dance. And but when I met me and Igor, they were not really perfect dancers yet, but they were training to get there. And that I really liked. I liked being on a journey together with them, reaching the stars or trying to become very good dancers. So I wasn't interested in making a film about dance couples that already had reached perfection. So I like the story with Lee and Igor, and of course they are shining on a dance floor, so therefore I was also very drawn to them as a character. And we just started out this film shoot. We're only meant to be 15 minutes for a young audience, but it turns out that there were much more here, so we could make a longer film, and that's of course just fantastic, I think.
And so we're wondering, you know, this was your debut feature film, do you have any other advice for filmmakers for creating their debut feature films? And also, I just want to make a slight note. I'm hearing some feedback. I don't know if anybody else has the window open.
I do that as well.
Okay. If anybody else has the window open in a second, or the chat open in a second window, if we just close that, I think. Okay.
Is it better now?
It's a little bit better, so I think we can keep rolling with it.
Okay.
So, so just once again, if you have any other advice for new filmmakers.
Oh, well. Well, I think it's very important to have a strong main character for a film. And then I also go for inspiring sceneries, environments, and most of all, it's very important to create a space of trust. That's something that is essential for making documentary films, I believe, and you should try to create this space, and you should go and yeah, I can only speak for myself, but I really like to be involved in my character's life, and I really need to pay everybody that I'm filming, pay them respect. It's very important. And then I also think that making a documentary, then you should remember to listen to your film. It can be difficult in some situations where you try to control your film, and you know you cannot control your characters. You cannot control the film itself. It's like if it's heading in some direction. You just have to follow your film and not trying to force it in another in a false or untrue direction. So pay respect and listen to your characters and listen to your film. And then also remember your first ideas, because some of them are very important. Because when you get into a period where you are filming, and for me it's very important to have a dynamic process while doing documentary films. I always go film, and then I go back edit, talk to my editor, talk to my producer, and then we find out what to do. So I used to do the dynamic process. It's very useful, I think, yeah. But be aware and find your first ideas as well.
Yeah, Lise, we would love to hear what advice you might have for first-time filmmakers as well.
Say that once more.
Oh, we'd love to hear what advice you would have for first-time filmmakers as well.
I think that these advices are very good. I think staying true to your first idea is very important. I think that there's a lot of energy, and there's a lot of that's sort of your gas tank. That's where you want to get all your fuel all the way through in your project. It's so easy to be misled by a wonderful side story, but the first idea that you got, that's actually the core. And trying to stay true to your core, I think that's very, very important. So that would be my advice, and my next advice would be to never take no for an answer. Never, no is just on your way to a yes. Because it takes a long way, and it takes a lot of. It's very time consuming, but you need to stay true to your project on that way as well, even though it's long. Yeah, so that would be, yeah.
All right, well, great. So we're going to have to start wrapping up. We have about 5 more minutes left. So Egor, where can we see you dance next?
Excuse me?
Where can we see you dance next?
Well, my next competition is in German Open. It's a competition where the film started and where the film ended, you can say. I mean, it was quite. It is the biggest competition in the dance world right now, I believe, and it's held in Stuttgart. It's called GOC, GOC, basically 2014 now, and yeah, we're going to dance a lot of categories there, and we're going to dance Grand Slam, which is the highest category of competitions, you can say, and there are more than 300 couples compete. So this will be the category we'll be dancing in, and we'll be dancing there from August of and we'll be dancing from 11th of August to 15th of August, and we'll be there, and I believe there will be a stream from YouTube and YouTube videos and blah blah. I mean, yeah, you can just follow it there. It's quite catchy, and it's a very good competition. It's a great thing to. I would say it's a great way to start learning learning the dancing world for you if you haven't been in there yet. It's a great place to come, and it's a great place to just watch even online. I mean, it's a great experience. There are shows. There's just the greatest judges ever and the greatest dancers, and there's also alternative disciplines like boogie woogie and West Coast swing and all this kind of dancing, and it's very exciting. And there will be some major competitions held for a lot of categories, so we will be competing there next. This is just our goal for this year, you can say. So this will be the most important competition for us.
That's fantastic. Well, we wish you the best of luck, and we look forward to watching your future endeavors as you get to the next big competition when you turn 21. And so you can see what Katrine Philp's going to be up to next. We have a film update on our website, and you're working on several new films, of course, Katrine. Do you want to briefly just describe one of those?
Sorry, once again.
Oh, would you like to just describe quickly the next film that you're working on?
Okay, sorry. Right now, I'm actually starting up a new documentary company where we are aiming for making international documentary films. A small group, 4 of us, some very good people, and I have different projects in early development stage. So hopefully next year there will be a premiere. But yeah.
Okay,
but
so
I'm
we have
very much in the middle of establishing this company. So and shooting some new film, but I'll be back with that later on.
Great. Well, best of luck. And once again, congratulations on the PBS premiere last night. The film is streaming on the POV website until August 20th. So if you haven't watched it, you can watch it again or a second time. And thank you so much to Egor and Katrine and Lisa for joining us today. And thank you to all the audience people who have asked questions. They were great questions.
Thank you, POV team. Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.